Welcome, everybody, to week 6 of the Harrison Brinker Show. I hope you're all having a good week. You know who's not having a good week? Well, the Connecticut man whose house burned down, and amidst the flames, his collection of fireworks was all set off inside the home. He's what some people are calling the worst neighbor of all time. Now, it'll be easy to have a better week than that guy, but it's going to get a whole lot better when you sit down and watch me complain about modern movies. And to wrap it up, I have an interview with my best friend, Logan Geiman. So stick around to the end because you're not going to want to miss it. It's a good one, I promise. And I'll see you all in only a moment. Welcome to episode 6 of the Harrison Brinker Show. I hope you're all excited for a new episode. I know that I am 24 hours off nicotine, so I'm having I'm getting anxious, but, we'll be fine. If I can make it 3 days cold turkey without any sort of substance, I think it's like, all right. That's the hard part. Everything after that is downhill. Which is that good, by the way? Like downhill? Like uphill battle is harder than a downhill battle. But then, in riding your bike, downhill is easy. But, if I were to say, oh, it's all downhill from here, I think that means it's easy, but it sounds hard, you know? It makes it, there's just something about that phrase that make your first assumption is like, if it's downhill, that must not be good. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Moving on, Harrison. I don't really have anything to talk to you about this week. I don't know what I did. I went to work and that's it, but I can give you a kind of stupid story as an insight into how this show works and how it's how it's poorly run by me. As long as there's an episode every Tuesday, that's all that really matters, right? I mean, obviously, of course, I want the episodes to be good, but they have to be up on Tuesday. So here's a little tidbit for you. Peel behind the curtain. I am recording these all out of order, which I regret, by the way, but here's the position we're in, so this is what we have to do. I'll let you know. This is episode 6, right? This is just for fun. If this is too confusing for you, don't even worry about it. I'm just letting you know how stupid I am. This is episode 6. But episodes 7 and 8 have already been recorded. I'm wearing a Fred Perry polo with pink trim on it in episode 8. I'm wearing a white shirt and black tie in episode 7. I talked about politics in episode 7. I talked about capitalism in episode 8. I know these things because they've already been recorded. Now, Harrison, why are you recording these out of order? That's a great question. Originally, I was recording them all in order. Every Tuesday or Monday, I would sit down and record an episode of the Harrison Brinker Show. But one week, I sat down to record my 6th episode, and I was going to make it about cancel culture. I was going to talk about Bo Burnham. I was going to talk about The Office. I was going to talk about things I didn't like about cancel culture and things that I thought were improperly attributed to cancel culture, things that I thought were good points about it that actually a lot of people were dismaying. Anyway, not dismaying. I don't know if that's the right word. It doesn't matter because that rant, at least as of right now, hasn't happened. But it was about cancel culture, and I tried to record it. And I recorded it once. I obviously try to do these in one take. Or I obviously do these in one take. But I try to do them in one continuous take, and that's it. I don't like to re-record a rant. Sometimes if there's a booger in my nose or, 9/11 happens, I'm going to have to try it again. But I don't like to do it more than once because it takes the fun out of it. And what I like about the show is that it's not scripted. Other than my notes, but if you want to read my notes, they just say that's that's my preparation for today's episode. It says episode 6 ? What I like about the show is that it's not scripted. So if I record a 10-minute rant and then watch it and then have to re-record it, that's a script. Generally, I mean, to the point where I can tell I'm purposely trying to say things in a certain way because they worked as jokes the first time I recorded, even though they were off the top of my head the first time I recorded, and now they're not. I won't let you know when I do that, because I don't think it's obvious enough, but I know. I know when I've had to re-record rants, and I don't like it. Anyway, so I did a cancel culture one, and I recorded it like 3 or 4 times, and it ended up just getting longer and longer and longer, which isn't necessarily good. I think this show works well as a long show. Like, I sit down and try to talk as fast as I can, and it ends up being an hour and a half. Like, I'm kind of impressed by that. Not necessarily patting myself on the back, but just like, oh, okay, you know what? If it's an hour and a half, it's an hour and a half. But I didn't think it was necessary to have the rant be 20 minutes long, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. So what I did was I just scrapped the episode, and I just took the week off because I didn't know what else to talk about, and I don't want to just get on here just so I can go, well, there's an episode. What can I talk about? Well, my neighbor's out here clipping the hedges. You know, I want to be able to tell you about something that bothers me. Or something I enjoy, although there's just hardly ever anything that constitutes my enjoyment. Anyway, so episode 6, I put off. And my plan was that the next week I was going to sit down and just record an episode like normal and make that episode 6. But as I filmed it, I decided against that. And that the episode I recorded next would be episode 7. And instead of recording whatever episode whenever you record it becomes the next episode, what we should do is attribute each week to an episode. So this week right now is episode 6. Last week was episode 8. I don't know if this works. Actually, it doesn't work. I don't like it at all, but I'm kind of forced to this position. I painted myself into a corner. So I attributed each week to a certain episode, and if I skip a week, instead of making up that episode the next week, the train keeps on moving, and we do episode 7 instead. Even though there's no episode 6, it doesn't matter. You're already on to the episode 7 week. Do episode 7. Figure out episode 6 when you can. So now we can. Now we can do episode 6, and that's what we're doing. So that was a 6-minute ramble about how the order of these episodes worked. Obviously, it doesn't matter to you. You're still seeing them in the correct order. But I didn't have anything else to say today, so I figured why not try to just confuse everybody right off the bat with an interesting, not interesting story about how your great host actually has no idea what he's doing. Actually, I think I do. You know what? I changed my mind. Having said all that, it's actually quite impressive how I'm able to pull a show off every week. You know, Fox News, Sean Hannity, they got producers and all these guys making sure that if there's sweat on your head, it's dabbed, and if your cheeks are a little rosy, they cover it up. I don't have any of that. They have every single thing is taken care of for them. I'm here. If there's one slip up, like I forget to record an episode, I got to work 40 times as hard as Tucker Carlson does. And yes, I'm only referencing Fox News hosts. No questions. I got to work 40 times as hard as any of these other guys to get a show out every week. But you know what? I do it, don't I? Let's move on to the first segment of the day.
That shit busted.
Here's something I'm trying to get more comfortable with. Honesty. I like this show because I just tell you how I feel. I like the podcast that I listen to because it's just people being brutally honest. I don't like disingenuousness. I like people being ingenuous. And just honest about their feelings, even though it could be harsh. It doesn't always have to be harsh. I don't have to just sit and watch people be mean all the time. But I think generally when you watch people being mean, it's because they're being honest, and you're getting tricked into thinking that that's mean. And it may be harsh, it may be uncomfortable, it may be awkward, but if it's the truth, I want to hear it. I'm taking a sip like that should be the end of this segment. Hang on, I got plenty more to say. But this coffee's getting colder by the minute, and if I wait till the end of the episode, it's going to be freezing. So anyway, I like all these shows that are just people being mean most of the time, because it's not because I want people being hurt, it's because I like the truth. So, here's a couple things that I've thought about that I want to be more truthful about. Starting with, I'm not interested in seeing Deadpool 3. Come at me. Come at me. I get it. I get it. Harrison, that's sacrilege. In fact, it takes a lot for me to want to go see any movie. I think the last movie I watched was Civil War. I saw that in the theater with Kirsten Dunst. That movie sucked. So it's not really helping me want to get back into the whole going to the movie theater thing. The last movie I watched on my own was Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage. I thought that movie was all right. I thought it was good. I haven't looked at any reviews, so people might be saying that it's actually terrible. But I thought it was a cool concept, and in terms of the logic of the movie, it made sense. The end of it was kind of weird after the whole scene in the middle where he goes with that girl in her house and he, like, prematurely kind of thing. Let's just say that. After that whole scene was kind of confusing. Anyway, whatever. Who cares? Those were the last two movies I saw, and the next movie coming up that everyone's talking about is Deadpool 3, but I'm sorry to say I don't really care. I'm kind of just sick of, like, after that Spider-Man Far From Home, or which one was it, with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Like, I did see that in the theater, yes, and I might see the next Spider-Man in the theater, but that's only because I've seen every Spider-Man since The Amazing Spider-Man in the theater. Other than the animated ones, because I don't like animated movies. And if you're going to sit here and go, no, animated movies are just as good as regular movies, I'm sure they are. But they're not for me. That's all. I don't hate you if you watch them. I think it's annoying because generally it's like, no, you have to watch them. They're even better. I'm like, I just don't want to. It's not that you're assuming that I think you're an idiot if you like them. I don't. I just don't want to watch it. So no, I probably won't watch the animated Spider-Mans anytime soon. I don't want to watch Deadpool 3. I'm going to get back into this. Those are just the comments you hear like a lot of times. But like after Far From Home came out, it was like, okay, it's great to see Tobey, it's great to see Andrew, but let's not fool ourselves here. They didn't do that because it would have been the best scenario for Tom, what's his name? Tom Hardy? Tom Middleton? Freaking Tom Holland. Like, was it essential for Tom Holland to meet these other two guys? Or did you know that I would go see the movie if you put my childhood heroes in it? You went with the latter, and you knew that I was going to do it, and a lot more people were going to go see that movie if you just put the nostalgia thing in it and then explain it like, oh, it's actually a multiverse thing. I'm like, look, the multiverse doesn't make any sense. Sorry for the F word. You're just doing this because you want me to pay tickets to see Andrew Garfield because it's kind of cool. And you're right. And I did do it. But now Deadpool's like, oh, well, we're bringing Wolverine in here. And I'm like, first of all, I've never seen an X-Men movie, so I already don't care. Second of all, I don't think Deadpool's funny. Third of all, now they're combined, I really don't care. But apparently I'm supposed to be excited that Deadpool and Wolverine are hanging out with each other. Why? I don't mind if you want to go, by the way. There's some opinions on the show where I'll say like, hey, if you think this way, you're stupid. This one I get. This is just completely subjective. I just find it annoying where it's like, no, you got to see you're going to go see the new Deadpool though, right? No. Why? Why is that like a thing that's like, but come on, it's the new Citizen Kane. It's going to be as great as the multiverse thing. I'm sick of the multiverse. I'm sick of them killing guys off and then finding a way to bring them back to life just so they can make money off of it. And then tricking us all into being like, oh no, it actually makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't Logan be? No, because it's not the Logan Wolverine. It's like the Sony one in the beginning, like all that. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. Then why is it Hugh Jackman then? And I know he played him in the 2000s. I'm just saying. And I don't even know if that's the logic they're going with, by the way. I don't know anything about the movie. I'm just assuming. I'm making up fake scenarios in my head because I assume those are the general arguments towards the movie. The same way it's like, well, Green Goblin is in it even though he's dead in the end of Spider-Man 1. He's in it because he knew who Peter Parker was before he died. I'm like, okay. Well, Electro never knew who he was at all, so this logic already doesn't make sense in the actual movie you're talking about, Far From Home. But now we're going to watch Deadpool 3, and it's going to be Wolverine. He's wearing his old outfit or whatever, so it's going to be some weird logic of how it actually makes sense that Wolverine's in this movie, even though he died in Logan. I don't want to have to play mental gymnastics for a movie I already don't want to watch in order for it to make sense. I don't care. But I don't think Deadpool is funny. I thought it was funny when I was 14 and the movie came out, and I was excited to go like, oh my God, it's a superhero, but he says the F word. Okay, that's great. But now that I grew up and I say the F word and I'm kind of a superhero myself, it's lost on me. I don't really care. Same with The Boys. Everyone talks about how great The Boys is, but it's not interesting enough to me. And I'm sure there's a lot more stuff going on than just superheroes swearing, but I just see it as a gimmick. I see Deadpool as a gimmick of like, no. You're used to like Batman fighting crime, but now it's like a badass guy and he cuts people's heads off and he says the F word and he makes jokes about his penis. And it's like, yeah, if I were 13 and I'd never heard those jokes before, I'd go, oh my God, he called it a hog. That's great. But now that I'm an adult man, I've heard it all. And maybe this is a podcast thing or whatever, brutal honesty thing. Like I said, the shows I watch are generally very offensive. I didn't say that earlier, but the shows that I do choose to watch, the comedy, stand-up comedy that I enjoy are very rude. I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's edgy. But like, at least the podcasts are very rude, very abrasive, very offensive. And I'm so used to hearing that. Because I'm not against edgy comedy, but I don't like it being a gimmick of like, no, we're superheroes, but we swear. I'm like, okay, this is for 13-year-olds to like. Anyway, it might be because I listen to so many podcasts and just like, and I don't necessarily think this is a good thing, by the way. I think I listen to too many podcasts, but hearing people just have normal conversations and hear how they actually talk, I appreciate that a lot more than like a written script where someone says it would be funny if he said the F word right here after he cut the guy's head off. And then I don't laugh when he cuts the guy's head off and says the F word. And it makes me just mad thinking about the guy who wrote that scene. And I went, I'm seeing this show here that everyone tells me is incredible. I'm seeing this Deadpool movie that everyone says is great. And the whole thing is just like this sarcastic, I don't know, diatribe of just like, oh, you really? You think you're going to live? Well, you're dead, mother effer. Let me guess, he doesn't die at the end of the movie? Let me guess, he saves the world at the end of the movie? Oh, well, go along for the ride. I've been along for the ride. Every single superhero movie is the same. Well, The Dark Knight, Rachel dies. Oh, Logan, he dies at the end. So is that the same? Okay, 1 out of 96 movies is a tad different. But you're going to go into the Avengers and go, you're not going to know that Thanos is going to die at the end of the movie? They're going to save the world? Yeah, but did you know Tony Stark was going to die? No, but I don't care. He's not a real guy. Certainly there are movies that have made me upset. I talked about School of Rock. Actually, I'll talk about it next week. Going back to the confusing thing about the episodes. I'm not sitting here to say that movies don't make me ever feel something, but movies like that don't. And I'm not interested in sitting down and watching a show like The Boys or Deadpool 3. I want to watch, if I'm going to watch something, another thing is also, I've never been more busy in my life. I work 2 jobs, and every waking moment that I'm actually home off of my jobs, I'm sitting here at this desk recording or editing either this show or a podcast. So I actually haven't watched anything new. I watched Dream Scenario. Like I said, I watched that. That was probably 3 or 4 months ago. It was right around when I bought the TV for this desk, which was April 1st, and it's now June. Okay, so it hasn't been 3 months, but it's been 2.5. 2. Anyway, whatever. That doesn't matter. But I think like that very well may be part of it. If I was less busy, if I had all the time in the world, I'd probably sit and watch all these. But I think right now it also just helps me. It's like a nice filter because I have so little time, such little time, so few hours outside of work that if I'm going to sit down and watch a movie, it better be freaking good. So if I hear something like Deadpool 3, just because everyone wants to watch it, I have to remind myself, Harrison, you don't actually want to watch this movie. Don't get tricked into thinking that you want to watch it just because everyone else is talking about it. And that's my point. So if you leave this with anything, know that I don't have a problem if you watch Deadpool 3. And if you're just going for fun, go for fun. But if you're like me, take a second and think, do I actually want to see this movie, or am I being tricked because am I being tricked into it being a comedy just because he says the F word? Is that really that funny that someone says the F word? Or they make penis jokes? Is it really that funny for you to buy a ticket to the movie to go see it just so you could say you saw it? I think that's part of it. That was literally the only reason I would go see it, is just so I could say I saw it. That's what I said about all the Spider-Man movies. I would only go at this point just to be able to say that I've seen every Spider-Man movie in the theater. So yes, don't be suckered into going to see a movie you don't want to do. Don't get suckered into doing anything that you don't want to do just because you think other people are thinking a certain way about whether or not you should do it. Be honest with yourself. Do you want to play guitar because you want to play guitar? Or do you want to play guitar because you think it'll get you girls? Because it won't. It'll get you girls if you want to play guitar. Same with this show. Sometimes I think I shouldn't record an episode because I don't have anything to talk about. Maybe that's true. We'll figure that out down the road when there's enough people able to comment on an episode and say this wasn't necessary today. But for right now, I'll try to stick to a schedule just to promise myself that I can do it. Anyway, other than that, I kind of dwindled out at the end. I was really passionate for a second, and then I interrupted myself and then kind of lost my train of thought. But no, I was just going to say that you should do whatever you want as long as it's what you want to do. And if it takes a while to train yourself into realizing how you actually feel about something, take the time to figure it out, because you'll live a better life if you can just be honest with yourself. At the very least, be honest with yourself and be comfortable saying, no, I don't want to go see Deadpool 3 just because everybody else wants to go see it.
Drake, where's the door hole? It's right there. See, I drew it in magic marker. You're supposed to cut it out with the power saw. Dude, I'm gonna. Oh, really? Yes. So go get the power saw. Okay, I will. I see the problem. Oh, do ya?
Well, everybody, that's all I got for you this week. Of course, we're going to go into the interview now. This week, I have an interview with my buddy Logan Geiman, high school friend, college roommate, dear friend. Jason and I talked about him in episode 2. That's the kid we were talking about who wiped his ass with a toilet paper roll and had an ulcer and all that. If you guys watched that episode and you remember what I'm talking about. So this is the actual guy. I usually don't do prefaces for the interviews, but I think this one warranted one. This one was justified because I even had to rewatch this 3 times to finally get it. And I know Logan front to back, which is also the way he wipes with cardboard. I originally thought, because I'll usually cut things out of the interviews, just because I'm okay, we sit down for an hour and a half and talk. Not every single thing's going to be gold, so I trim it down to what I think is actually worth putting in the episode. Which, by the way, if you're curious on what I cut out, I have the full uploaded interviews, uncut, uncensored, on everything, uploaded onto Patreon. So if you want to trick those out, there's a little commercial for you. Go to the Patreon. You can watch all the full interviews without anything cut out. But this week I was watching the Logan interview to go, what should I cut out of this? What is good? What's bad? And I watched it again for the first time and was like, oh my God, this is terrible. But then I watched it again and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't that bad. There's a couple good things in here. And then I watched it a third time. Yes, a third time. And it clicked and I realized, wait a second, everything in this is great. This is the funniest stuff I've ever seen in my life. So I was getting tricked into thinking just because it was uncomfortable or awkward or kind of slow that it was bad. But if you can put up with it being kind of oddly paced, I promise you the answers that Logan gives are going to be some of the funniest things you've ever heard. So just trust me that it's good. If you finish it and go, that wasn't funny, I don't know what Harrison's talking about, I promise you that you're the problem. Watch it again, and if you have to, watch it a third time, and then you can just go, oh, this is the funniest person in the world. So that's my preface for it. I obviously, like I said, haven't done that with any other interviews, but I think this one kind of needed it just so I can say, yes, I understand you're going to think that this is bad, but trust me, it's not bad. And that sounds bad, but you'll know what I mean when you watch it. So that's all. I hope Logan takes it away now. I hope you stick around to the end and can understand how funny this interview really is. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Logan Geiman. Well, we'll get right into it. Welcome, everybody, to this rendition of the Harrison Brinker Show interview section. Today's guest is my oldest friend, Logan Geiman. Hello, Logan. Now you can introduce yourself.
Well, the vice president reunite. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, back
I
in
know
the
Jason's already been on, but he wasn't a part of that. So.
Yeah, Jason. Of course, everyone saw Jason in episode 2. He was demoted as chancellor of our apartment. Me and Logan voted ourselves president and vice president, and I think it worked rather well. What else I got here? I got a soundboard. This is the soundboard episode. Let's just try one just to have a little fun.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
That's from Dumb and Dumber. That'll get us right into our first segment here. I just wanted to talk to Logan about Dumb and Dumber, which is one of our favorite movies collectively. Logan, what would you like to say about Dumb and Dumber?
I mean, I feel like I could watch it a million times and I would always laugh at the same spots and it would never get old.
Do you have a favorite part?
I don't know.
There's too many to pick from. How about this one?
Come on, give me that booze, you little pumpkin pie haircutted freak. Come on.
Pumpkin pie haircut freak.
No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
I could go all day. With these sounds, but I'll limit myself now. Yeah, we both love Dumb and Dumber. If you want to know what gave us our sense of humor, it was the movie Dumb and Dumber, and I'll gladly talk about that all day too. It's my favorite movie.
I guess we could kind of be pictured as the two guys in the movie if you want to
spit it out.
If you want to picture that.
Oh yeah. Am I Harry or am I Lloyd because I've got Lloyd's haircut?
I don't know. I would feel like I'm more of Harry,
but my name is Harry, so that's where it gets confusing.
Yeah.
And Logue is basically Lloyd.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Jason, obviously he was here on episode 2, and one of the things we talked about was stories of you in college, and I think it's only fair to let the record show, or let you clear the record, or clear your name, or whatever. Or maybe you won't even clear the record. Maybe everything that you'll say here is actually going to dig you into a deeper hole. But I'd like to ask you a couple questions about some stories from college that me and Jason talked about. And now that you're here to personally refute every single thing, I'd like to hear what your perspective was with, most importantly, the ulcer story.
What was my perspective?
Yeah, like take us through your day, your
my
perspective,
day?
Whatever, from the ulcer, yeah. Because this is a crazy story. Logan almost died. Not to spoil it, go ahead.
I don't really remember much. I feel like taking the bus to class and the eating before that. I feel like I don't remember much because probably I felt fine.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know. I guess when I was, because the class I was going to was on the second floor of the building, so I was I had to walk upstairs, and I felt like I just was struggling. I didn't have any energy to do so.
Oh, nice.
And so I got to class, and I feel like a couple times in the middle of it, I got up and walked to get a drink of water or something, just because. What the hell is going on in my closet? Is there a freaking cat in my closet? Yeah, and I thought it was dehydration. Mm-hmm. Is what I thought.
So you were just drinking thrown-back water, trying to cure yourself of a belly full of blood.
So basically, I don't know. I gutted it out through class, and I was sweaty and all that. So, and then after that class was over, I think I was supposed to have another one right after it, but I decided I was just gonna take the bus and go home because I felt like crap. So I was sitting there waiting for the bus, and it was a hot day, and the bus stop was out in the sun and everything. And there was like a building like right behind the bus stop, and I was like, I need to sit down or I'm gonna fucking pass out.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down and I just like 3 times just barfed up blood, and it was. I'm sure he'll show a picture of it because I know he has one, but it was just like, to describe it, it was just like black and red, and it was like little chunks and stuff. It was kind of gross.
Yeah, it looked like all the cranberry juice from the Ocean Spray commercials. And then you sent us a picture of it, and we're just like, look at this. And
I sent a picture to our group chat, and I was like, what did I say? I said, guess who just did this or something.
Yeah, you're like, guess
that.
what this is. I think it was something like that. It'll say it in the picture.
And I don't remember how that conversation went down from the bus to getting back to the apartment, but I got on the bus and it was like completely full, and I didn't realize it at first, or like till I got on the bus, that I got the blood like on my like gray shorts, like it was on my like one ass cheek, and it was like, it looked like.
How'd you do that? Did you sit in it?
I have no idea. I don't know. But so it looked like I shit myself out of
shit blood.
One ass cheek.
Yeah, that's how shitting
But
works.
the bus was completely full, and there's this like yellow line on the bus where you have to, everybody that's standing has to be behind it.
Yeah.
Like
Safety
for safety
precautions.
reasons, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was able to fit in like right there, like right next to the line, but I had my like ass up against the side of the bus the whole time because I knew what my rear end looked like, and I didn't want anybody to see it.
Now, this wasn't the time that there was a bomb strapped on the bus and Keanu Reeves had to save you, was it? Or was that another time? when you couldn't go over 55 miles an hour?
Well, maybe I wish the bomb would have went off at that point, because we were under 50 the whole time. Felt like it took an hour to get back to the apartment.
Well, then you get home to the apartment, you throw all your clothes around the bed, or around the living room and into your bedroom, and we had to have our friends go pick you up. So you get to the hospital, and now what was that like? We convinced you, by the way, that you were dying. I think you still thought you were just sick.
I had to like take a shit, and I think I got some apple juice or something, and our friends had to convince me to go to the hospital. Probably sat there for probably an hour until I actually went back, and I don't remember what they did first. I guess they just put like an IV in me or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember at some point in between that and them actually like getting me into a room, I had to like take a shit, like really bad. And it was, this time I shit out blood.
Wait, what?
And it was, and I went to go wipe, and it was completely black.
All right. That's like that Pearl Jam song. Maybe that's what they were talking about. And I am wiping black off my ass. Go ahead. Proceed. I'm just here for fun.
I mean, I had to do that. I shit out. It probably a couple times.
I'm shitting.
I'm
shitting. Go ahead. Right. We can skip through that part. I don't know how many people are checking in just to hear your shit.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to go through what I remember, but
you're painting a full picture and painting the inside of the bowl.
I eventually get into a room. And our roommate Jason had to bring me. He had to go back to our apartment and bring me like clean clothes, or no, I guess I did change at home. But he had to bring me like my toothbrush and
clean
crap.
the blood out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Now, were there any cute nurses here? Let's get into the brass tacks. What was the nurse situation? Were you in love with any of them? they have to give you a physical or anything, or they just stuck you with a needle and left?
Yeah, that was fun. Needles every 6 hours. Yeah, I remember there was one that
Whoops.
Jason, and I remember Jason, he talked about this the other day when we were hanging out, but he
Yeah, without me.
but there was when there was a nurse in the room the one time, and like right as she was leaving, he like said out loud, he was like, "She's hot," as she was closing the door.
And then when she had to come back in, she had to do this. Just trying to use all my sound effects here.
But yeah, so I was there. I think the next day they put me to sleep and they had to frickin' go up and like clamp my whatever it is in there or something so I'd stop bleeding.
Oh.
Because I don't know what I don't remember what they called it or the terms, but
An ulcer?
I guess, yeah.
They went in and sewed it shut? What is this, the 1600s?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how they did it.
Did they stick a tube down your throat?
I don't think so. I mean, if they did, I didn't know because I wasn't awake. So.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
But
well, that's gross.
I don't know what like blood levels on a scale, like what's high and what's low. But they said I did lose like a decent amount of blood. So obviously,
well, everyone's seen the picture. Yeah, it looked like.
You can see the picture, and if you can imagine just shitting out blood.
Right. Yeah. Let's go back to the shit. Yeah, but no, it's no wonder you were out of it. You were confused because all the blood that's supposed to be in your brain was now in the toilet or on the floor of Penn State.
On the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk.
Left a huge stain.
And some on the back of your pants. Yeah, that stain was there for days. We would pass by it, roasting in the sun. I'm sure anyone seeing it just thought it was V8 or something. Nope, that was Logan's life juice.
I don't think they make black V8.
You should have had a motherfucking V8, man. What else we got here? I wanted to hear the. What else?
Well, I didn't finish.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I apologize.
I guess.
I got scared after making it.
I guess so. To wrap it up, I was there. I was there like 4 days, and I remember like right when I got there, I was like, "Is there any way I could go home tonight?" and they're like,
"Yeah, sure. If you want to go home in a body bag."
Yeah.
And you weren't allowed to eat. You could only eat ice or something.
I couldn't eat. It wasn't until like 3 days until I was able to. They were actually able to give me something, and it was like chicken broth.
Ugh. Yeah, and then your first day out, you had
first it was
cake.
ice cubes just to suck on, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call that food.
No,
I think they tricked you.
And there's chicken broth, and then like noodles.
Right.
So.
And then your mom made you a cake, and you ate that.
Yeah, that probably wasn't the best.
I'm sure it was good though. What was it? A funfetti?
Funfetti, yeah.
Yeah, classic.
After the 4 days of fun I had before that.
Was there anything else with that, or we can go on to another one?
That was basically it. Yeah, I remember each time I had to go to the bathroom, I was like connected to a thing that would monitor my heartbeat and I guess blood pressure and stuff. So I had to like walk that thing. It was like a machine. I had to walk that with me to the bathroom every time.
Like an old man, like with an IV bag strapped to it. Now another one I had that we talked about with Jason, but if you have other ideas of what we could talk about, please let me know. But another one we did reference was the time that you ran out of toilet paper and decided to wipe your ass with the roll. Could you explain to us your thought process with that one?
Yeah. So basically, we had like a closet area in our apartment. I usually would always have extra toilet paper up there, and the more you know.
Yeah.
But I had to take a shit again. And I got to the end of the toilet paper roll, and basically I needed to do more wiping is what it came down to, and I had nothing else.
Yeah.
So
me and Jason, we wouldn't have offered you a roll.
Yeah.
Must
So
have,
I got
the cell
up.
towers
I
must
got
have
up
been
and went to
down or
my
something.
closet, and I checked, and I was like, I'm all out. So, and it's not like I didn't have paper towels or anything like to wash after washing my hands. I
Yeah.
had like an actual towel. So I took the cardboard that's wrapped in the toilet paper and just wiped my ass with it.
Now, did you tear it in half or something and used it like a piece of toilet paper, or did you just like stick the whole roll up your ass?
No, so yeah, I like took it apart. I took it apart and
Disassembled
like
the
tried
cardboard
to
roll.
even it out.
Okay.
Um,
Now, the thing about toilet paper, though, is it's white, so you can tell if there's more to wipe. But the brown cardboard, was it tough to tell if you had anything left or what?
yeah, it just turned a darker shade of brown. I couldn't tell.
It's like a whiter shade of pale. There's something about it.
I couldn't tell what I got. I got something. I didn't know what I got, but
It also makes me think if you were able to wipe the rest of your ass with just this much cardboard, there probably wasn't much in there anyway. So either there was a bit of overkill and you probably didn't have to do that, or there was still shit in there left over. Not to be graphic here, guys, but this is just how the story went. We have to talk
yeah,
about it.
I don't think I got it all. But I eventually I finished up and I went down because I had I believe I had extra toilet paper like in the trunk of my car. So I went down to my car to get it. Still not asking one of my roommates if they had one, by the way.
Right, you don't want to rely on
okay.
other people. You want to solve problems by yourself. I can respect that.
But yeah, went to go get the toilet paper for my car. Came back up and I tried re-wiping, and I don't think I had any luck getting anything. So
Must have dried up. Hey, that's all right. And you're still here to tell the tale, so obviously you didn't have sepsis or
left
whatever.
me with a hemorrhoid. So
That's all right. That happens. You can just push those back in. But that reminds me, isn't there a story when we were at a bar one time and you ended wiping early? Again, not to make this the shit stories episode, but it is a funny story.
oh, okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Weren't we at Cafe? This is at Penn State, everybody.
We
if
were
you
at
go there.
Cafe, yeah, and before that we went to Outback Steakhouse.
Mhm.
And I don't really know what I ate or what it was. Obviously, I know what I ate. I ate a steak, but it wasn't like undercooked or anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We eventually went out to the bars a little after that, and I had the shits for the rest of the night.
But I guess
So.
the story, though, was it you went into the bathroom but then didn't wipe or something? That's what I'm talking about. I don't really need
I
to
don't
know
remember.
if you had to shit one
I'm
time.
trying to remember. I don't remember this one very well, but
We can drop it. We can
maybe
drop
they didn't
that
have
turd.
toilet paper. I don't know.
You could have used the roll. You should have done
Maybe
what
they
they do in the Middle
They
East
might
and
not
wipe
even
it
have
with your
that
hand.
because I definitely would have used it if they had that.
Yeah, clog the entire system. Hey, that's all right. It's not your toilet.
I don't. They probably didn't have toilet paper. That's probably what it was, but I don't remember for sure.
Well, that happened one time with me at the bar. I guess I'll try to cleanse the palate here by being disgusting myself. At Shandy Gaff, they had the bathrooms upstairs. The bar was upstairs. They had the bathrooms, and there's a urinal and an actual toilet. But there wasn't a door in front of the toilet. It was just a room with a toilet and a urinal. And I had to go to the bathroom real bad. Number 2. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to swallow my pride. I've had a couple drinks in me, so I already don't care about anything. I'm going to go to the bathroom on this actual toilet in front of everybody. And I go in there. I go to sit down, and there's not a toilet seat. So it's only a toilet for peeing. So I had to run outside and run across the street to shits. And that's all I had. Meanwhile, there was a lovely woman there that I was buying drinks for who ended up abandoning me. I remember you. And yeah, but I made it back in time. So I understand. You're not just the shit guy, you know. That happens to everybody.
Yeah,
Now, or go ahead, sorry.
I took the bus home. I took the bus home early. And I remember I had to go again, and I think I ended up going in the engineering building before I took the bus back, and Jason had to give me his key or something because the building was locked.
Right.
So yeah, I was probably in there for 15 or 20 minutes.
Must have been an extreme one.
It was bad.
Do you have a picture of it we can show the people?
I don't have, not of that one, no.
All right, they'll just have to use their
I don't think that would
imaginations.
top the blood.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The blood shits.
Yeah. Now, here's something that you used to do in college a lot, which is sleeping in past your classes. You would miss a lot of classes. That's all right. You graduated, right? Do you have trouble with that now that you're in the real world with a real job? Have you slept in and gone into work late? Or is that out of your system?
6:45 every day.
And when's work start? 7:30?
8.
7:30? Oh boy, I gotta go.
Oh, well, all right. 8 o'clock. That's not bad. Yeah. Well, that's good to hear, though. You're turning your life around. You're waking up on time. Speaking of sleeping, one of my favorite jokes that you and I had with each other when we would have slumber parties at Cole's house. Everyone knows Cole. He's been on the show. We would sleep over at Cole's house because he was closer to the bars, and Jason would try to go to bed early because he's morning bird or whatever, early worm. And me and Logan would constantly harass him with jokes that we would say to each other because often while Jason tried to sleep and we're all crammed into this living room, we would go, "Hey, Logan, are you awake?" And I would only do it because I knew it made Jason mad. And then Logan would go, "Hey, Harry, are you awake?" And then 10 minutes would go by. And we'd say it again. But eventually we just turned it into a big joke, which is like, "Hey, Anaconda, are you a snake?" And we just did that for an entire night, trying to think of what rhymes with snake and awake and rake. It was good. Do you have any memories of those? Do you remember anything we said? Sorry, I'm stuttering here. I'm nervous. Big celebrity. Bear with us.
Hey, was it a steak, I think? Hey, I don't remember.
I remember the one was, "Hey, Texas, are you a Waco?" Now that was fun.
Okay.
Now, Logan.
Hey, I think one was, hey, sirloin, are you a steak or something like that?
There we go. Yeah.
I don't know.
But Jason would get very mad at us because we did that for probably 3 hours. And this was at a time where it didn't take us 15 minutes to come up with one. We would just go back and forth. I think eventually we went into rhyme zone.
Drunk, so.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna have an episode where you guys are both on. You can handle it on that, all right? Let's not slander each other. Another thing you did a lot was drink only Coke, never water. And you said that if you stopped drinking Coke, you would get a headache. Is that still true? Are you still a Coke guy?
Kind of, but I try to limit myself. Like, I try to drink at least 3 bottles of water at work a day, so.
And how many Cokes a day?
Maybe, I
Don't
usually
lie.
want like every other day now.
All
maybe.
right, that's not too bad. You're weaning off of it. As someone who was recently sober and then relapsed, I understand. Now, Logan, I want to ask you... oh, wait, actually, here's one more. You had a job interview. I can't remember the company, but I think you said... This is how I remember it. They asked you, like, why you changed your major, and you said you changed from accounting to finance because it's easier. Or maybe it's the other way around. But didn't that happen?
That did happen, yeah.
Well, yeah, what happened there? You tell us.
I think it was the first actual interview I had.
Mm-hmm.
It was the place I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they asked me basically why I changed my major from finance to accounting, and basically I basically couldn't give them an answer. I knew what the answer was in my head. It was because. When I was at Penn State York, to be able to for the 2+2 program, to be able to go to main campus, you had to have in finance, you had to have a GPA of 3.5 or higher, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to make that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for accounting, it was 3.2, and I was like in the 3.3 range. So that's really the whole reason I changed, is because I knew I wouldn't be able to go to state college as a finance major.
Well, hey, we're glad we're glad you made the switch, Log. We wouldn't have these stories if you hadn't done that. But yeah, so you told the interviewer that I changed it because I thought it would be easier.
Yeah, that's basically like exactly what I said.
And then what do you know? They didn't give you the job. That sucks.
Hey, that's their loss.
Well, well, if you were there, they probably would have lost a lot more if they had you in charge of the finances. But that reminds me, I have a story. I think I must have told you about it. With the Penguins, where don't worry, everybody. I'm not making fun of Logan because I've made silly mistakes in interviews too. One time I interviewed for the Penguins, the Pittsburgh Penguins. I wanted a video internship over the summer, and I don't watch hockey, so the guy, he went through all the film stuff and was just like, oh, you know this camera, you know this editing software, and everything was going swimmingly. Although they did laugh at me that I was wearing a shirt and tie, and the interviewer was just wearing a hoodie. So when I signed into the Zoom call, he just kind of gave me a look like, oh, look at fancy pants over here. But he asked me, lastly, what do you know about the Penguins? And I just said what Logan told me before the interview, which is Sidney Crosby. And that's all. And I said, I know the coach has dogs. And then they fired me. So that's embarrassing. But lastly here, which of course if there's anything else, chime in, but I wanted to ask, a day in the life of Logan. Now that you're out of school, you're graduated, you have a regular job, you have a beautiful, beautiful bedroom with a ceiling fan behind you. What is a normal day in the life of Logan Geiman?
Well, it's sweating out the drive to work, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you mean by that? I guess I said but I literally have no idea what you're trying to say.
Well, I guess there's always a lot of traffic, and I was in an accident back in September, so...
Are you okay?
Yeah, the car is not.
Yeah, it's all right.
But yes, I take the highway every day, and it's just there's traffic every day, and just in the back of my mind that remembering that I've hit somebody and
just joking. Okay, so you get to work. Now what?
Get to work, and I basically just listen to my music and do my accounting work. We work with local small businesses, and we track their business transactions, and at the end of each month send them out monthly financial statements of basically how well their business is doing. So yeah, and then 4:30 you get to go back home on the highway again. So
then you go home and have a nice dinner. Are you playing Xbox lately, or have you given that up?
Yeah, one time, I think, since I started my job. One time I've played for like an hour. That's it.
Yeah, it's for the kids. It's for the kids, Log. This ain't high school anymore, you know. Gotta be a man.
Well, we got NCAA football coming out in July, so
yeah, I'll be right back on it.
Change a little bit. But.
Never mind. What the H was I gonna ask? Oh, the lady situation. How's the lady situation? Are there any girlies at work or girlies in Logan's DMs? How's it going with the girlies?
Yeah, there's accounting girls at work or something. No, but they're
little out of the age range.
With all they're just a little older than me.
Just a smidge.
Just like double or triple. So yeah.
No luck on the apps or anything. You should go back to a high school reunion or go to an old high school football game and try to talk to some of the seniors. So I used to go here. I was on the baseball team. You might remember me from the Harrison Brinker Show. Anybody? Anybody?
You might remember me from sitting on the bench every game.
That sound that sound will never get old.
I ripped a couple of those on the bench too.
Yeah, luckily there was no blood. But yeah, so beautiful. We have a day in the life of Logan Geiman. You wake up, you go to work. Now, are you confident that after having worked here for however long and dealing with business transactions, if you were to start a small business, you would know what you were doing in terms of the finances?
No.
All right. Well, I guess I was going to make you my accountant, but we don't make any money here, so hopefully by the time we do, maybe you'll have changed your mind.
Still learning.
Yeah, that's all right. You got a raise, I heard. You said you got a raise back in December?
Yep.
That's good. That's good. Have you found any tax loopholes or anything yet? You want to tell the people at home, like, here's a good way to send off your money and pretend like you don't have as much as you really do?
I think it's either tax evasion, I think, is illegal, and then
I think so.
avoidance is legal or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I got it flip-flopped. I don't remember.
Oh, well, that's interesting. So we could avoid doing our taxes and not get in trouble. I like the way you think, Logan. What the heck else? Do you have any favorite shirts?
Favorite shirts?
Yeah, go ahead. Find your shirt.
Yeah, why don't you find one?
I'm wearing one. This is my favorite shirt. It's a white shirt. It's original. It's perfect.
Well, go get a Dumb and Dumber shirt.
Oh, all right. I'll get my Dumb and Dumber shirt.
Big gulps, huh?
I can show you that one. I'll be right back, everybody. I got to go to my closet. Logan, while I'm gone, you might as well go find one, too. All right, everybody. Now we're just waiting here for Logan Geiman to come up with his runway outfit. He's going to do a catwalk and show it off for everybody. What did he find?
I was just going to show the one I was wearing, but...
Oh, go ahead. Give us a spin. Stand up and spin around.
Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA.
When's the last time you were in Nashville?
I wasn't. My parents were, and they left me here.
Well, here's my two. This is one Logan was referencing. Big gulps, huh? That's from Dumb and Dumber. If you haven't heard, it's our favorite movie.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
And then, second of all, this is one I made myself. It's the Chick-fil-A cow. I think this is pretty funny. So if you want that shirt, the Chick-fil-A shirt, let me know. Comment or email me or sign on for the Patreon or something, and I'll send one for you. I don't care. I mean, you have to pay for it, but I'll gladly make you one until Chick-fil-A gives us a cease and desist for using their logo for something so vulgar.
Remember when you made shirts for the Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl?
I do.
You still have those?
Well, Cole has the Eagles one, and I don't feel like standing up and back and forth, but yeah, I have one in the Chiefs font that just says Queefs. I made the Drake and Josh Demonator shirt. That was pretty good. That one wasn't even as a joke. That was pretty good. Yeah, that's all I can remember. A couple Seinfeld shirts. It's always sunny. Blah blah blah. Well, Logan, is there anything else you'd like to add? That was all I had here. Dumb and Dumber, job interview, coke headaches, a day in the life. Are you awake? The lady situation. Any questions you have for me? You could flip-flop it here like an actual job interview and start asking me the questions.
Yeah.
That's okay. Take your time.
Tell them, I don't know if you've already said this in the past, but you stepped on a nail at work.
Oh, yeah. That was last week's episode, or 2 weeks ago or something.
All right.
You weren't there for that, though. Is there any memory of college? I mean, maybe there's not. Maybe I'll be offended here and be very upset, but is there any memory from college where you're like, hey, Harrison, this is something that you did. Let's talk about that. This might break my heart here. I really hoped I had left a lasting impact on you. I suppose not.
I'm having a bad memory right now.
Are you bleeding from the bum again?
I guess when you had COVID and you had to like stay locked in your room for
when you gave me COVID.
Did I?
Logan got COVID, coronavirus, as we called it back in the day. Logan probably has a couple other words he likes to call it. But Logan gets corona. It was right after they changed the regulations to, like, you only have to be fined for 5 days, and then you can go hang out with people again. So on day 5, he moves back up to college. We all hang out, have a party, kiss on the lips, and then the next day I'm sick. And everyone wants to blame me for being a sick bastard. But Logan brought it into the party. He started shaking hands and picking his nose and wiping it on my head. And now, the next thing you know, I'm sick. So I'm trapped in my room. It wasn't even actually that bad. I kind of liked it. I wasn't very sick. I just had like a bad nasal infection. But I had just turned 21 or something, or maybe I hadn't. But my friends were all 21, so we were all drinking, partying, doing all this. And for a week straight, I wasn't allowed to leave my room, and I just had to watch out the window as all my friends go drive away, down to the bars, hanging out, and I was trapped.
For the record, I did test negative before I went back up.
Logan, you know as well as I that those tests don't mean nothing. COVID can be in your system for ages. Ages, Logan. I'm getting choked up talking about it. I might have it now. Luckily, this is a Zoom call. So yes, thank you for reminding me that I'm a sick bastard. What?
Nothing.
Very funny. Cut that. Very funny, Logan. Yes. I got the Pfizer shot. It allowed me to go to a concert. I don't regret it one bit. That was a good concert. What else I got here? I mean, literally nothing. We've been going for 40 minutes. Anything else you'd like to wrap up and tell the people at home while we're still got you on the horn here? Fire away, buddy.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like what we did in college. We just, I remember we would just walk into each other's room like 5 times each night.
Yeah. You would
Just
always
just for
walk in.
nothing, just to walk in, just to look at the other person and just leave.
Yeah, that was a fun gag. Yeah, we could do that now. You'd have to get a plane ticket out to Utah. But we could still do that now. And you're visiting soon. Maybe we'll film an episode.
Like Kramer from Seinfeld.
Yeah, it would just be swing the door open and then just stare. And then walk away. And then you would tell me goodnight like 6 times. You would come in my room and go, good night, close the door. Then 10 minutes later, you'd open it back up and go, going to bed now. Like, thank you. I'm trying to watch, Seinfeld probably.
Yeah, he had he was either that or he was playing Minecraft or on his computer.
Love Minecraft. Oh, we didn't even talk about Fear Factor Friday. That was a tradition. Maybe I'll show that video.
For a week, yeah.
For a couple weeks. We'd make
It was a tradition for your for the thing you had to write.
Yeah. Well, me and Logan every Friday for 3 weeks we would watch Fear Factor. I'd make a nice spaghetti dinner, and we'd watch Joe Rogan's Fear Factor. And so I had a documentary class I had to take, and I had to do an interview with somebody. So I picked Logan as my subject because he's clearly rife with stories and information. So I told him to talk about Fear Factor Friday. And then we recorded our entire story, and it was about 30 seconds long, and the project needed to be like 3 minutes. So we were like, shit, let's come up with some other fake traditions. So what were they? It was Jackass January. We talked about how we love watching Jackass in January. And then Tom Hanks Giving. And we talked about how every Thanksgiving we watch Castaway and Sully.
Ticket
Tuesday. That one we did do, though. We would go down to Sheetz every Tuesday and buy lottery tickets for like 4 hours and just lose all our money.
Tuesday, like 2 or 3 in the morning. We had classes the next day.
Yeah, that probably didn't help with the whole sleeping in thing. And then the Vince Vaughn-ica. So for every Hanukkah, we would watch Vince Vaughn movies, which, of course, none of these happened. And after I sent the project in, my professor gave me a deficit on my grade and said, I don't believe that you do any of these things. And I was offended. But she was right. It was true that we didn't do any of those things. Although Jackass January was right around that time we filmed it. So I was like, well, how do you know that we don't watch all the Jackass movies in January?
Yeah.
Right?
And we went to see it at the theater.
Yeah, and you were yapping the entire time. Don't even get me started, Log. Don't even get me started on that. We saw Jackass 4 in the theater. But I'll leave that story alone. That was a good day, though. It was a snow day, and then we just hung out and partied afterwards. That's where I came up with ketchup on my fries. After the Jackass movie, we went home, and I came up with songs on the piano. Logan is the cup pong champion. I'll use that in this video.
Wasn't it you or Cole that had went sledding down a hill in a sink or something?
Yeah. After the snow day, we went out to the bottom of our... There was a hill behind our apartment, and at the bottom of it was just all the trash, I guess, that all the repairmen just threw away onto the ground. But we found a sink, the inside of a sink, so we used that as a sled. It actually worked pretty well. I miss those days. I haven't seen snow out in Utah. I don't know when it's supposed to kick in. It's June. Although it'll be probably July when you hear this, but regardless, there's no snow. I don't expect any this entire summer. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it, folks? There's no snow, okay? Global warming is real. Last I knew, Utah had snow in June all year long. So, yeah. Any last words, Logan? Would you like to plug anything? Have anyone follow your Instagram that's now defunct because you called someone a dirty, dirty word, and now you have no Instagram. Logan got banned. If you'd like to find him, you're going to have to just track him down in real life. Although we could put your phone number on the screen here if you'd like, and people could reach out.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Abraham LinkedIn. Heyo. Yeah. Well, Logan, it's been gorgeous. I've been happy to have you sit down, recount some beautiful stories. Of course, some that Jason had referenced before, but we wanted to hear your side of them. And you brought back a lot of good memories of college, and now I'm depressed because those will never happen again. And, of course, you guys all hung out only 2 weeks ago, and no one wanted to invite me! But why bother inviting the guy who lives across the country? Oh, he'll probably never show up. I would have showed up. I tried to call in. But yeah. Do you love me, Logan?
I do.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual most of the time. But that's it, everybody. That's the Logan Geiman interview. You've heard about him. You've been curious what this guy looks like, how he sounds, his stories. Are they true? I can affirm that they are true. And yeah, I miss those days in college, and now I'm out on my own, and I just want to be able to open the door on someone going to the bathroom again. See what else he sticks up his ass. But that's all, everybody. We'll see you next week. Logan, thank you for coming on.
It's been a pleasure.
Well, hey, plenty more to come, buddy. I'm not stopping until I die. So every week we'll have a new Harrison Brinker episode, and if we run out of people to talk to, we're going to start going back from the beginning with Jason, Cole, and eventually Logan again. So be ready for episode 325 when we have Logan on for his second interview.